Hey, I'm Matt the Pharaoh Wizard, and we're back with another Raiders of the Lost comic movie. So once again, I am joined by
Michael Hilmes of What's Up B and lead guitarist from Awaken Ashes.
and we got
I'm Gage from Maximum Engagement. Almost forgot my channel for a second. Yeah, I'm also the lead vocalist of Awaken Ashes.
all right. So are you guys excited for James Gunn's Superman?
Super.
Oh, definitely.
I'm
Especially
very
after
hopeful.
Zack Snyder's.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Man of Steel, but that's a whole other topic.
I mean, that was, yeah.
The trailer looks great. It looks
Yep.
amazing.
So we thought we'd bring you back to the first time Superman was ever in a featured film, and really the first superhero movie ever, Superman and the Mole Men.
Mm.
1951. Ooh boy. So who wants to give the plot? What happened in this movie?
Well, as I said many times throughout this movie, it's basically Superman and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It's basically just some a small town's drilling underground and we discovered this is part of the Godzilla versus Kong continuity because there's a Hollow Earth.
Yep.
And the mole men pop up from the Hollow Earth, and all the townsfolk are prejudiced against them and trying to kill them.
And it only takes 6 miles to get to Hollow Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, only 6 miles.
Only 6 miles.
At 32,600 feet, the drill broke through.
Broke through what?
And it was hanging in midair, as though we'd gone through the last solid layer of the Earth. And after that, nothing. Just empty space.
You mean the center of the Earth is hollow?
Is there any other explanation?
They're trying to kill these little mole people, which are just little people in fur onesies and crazy big skull caps. And so throughout this, Clark Kent and Lois are trying to investigate something with the oil rig and stuff. And mole men, the mole men appear, and they're just trying to fucking stop the townsfolk from lynching them.
Literally.
Yeah, and Superman pops up once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the joke that the Superman in this has as much screen time as the George Reeves Superman did in The Flash.
Yeah. Which I get. It's 1951. At one point, she turned into a cartoon.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, come on.
Yeah, he could have
was-
still been Superman a bit more.
Yeah.
but,
Once or twice
It-
more.
It was just like an investigation story in the Old West.
Pretty
that's what it
much,
felt
yeah.
like. It was like listening to your grandpa's radio shows.
It really was. No, this was fast talk or high pants, fast talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot like listening to a radio show, like a Superman radio
it
show.
It really was. Let's discuss the titular mole men in this.
So right off the bat, I didn't realize that was the mole man until 10 minutes after they actually showed up. I just assumed some crazy space shit was going on because it's Superman, but and then I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, that's supposed to be the mole people and that's why they came from underground.
I love the explanation that the lady gives of them does not match them at all. They're moles with giant human heads.
Oh, they had the bodies of moles and great big human heads. They were just horrible. Miss Lane, these creatures.
Yeah, giant human heads and small fuzzy bodies. I
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute.
That's not a suit.
Yeah, we all
I thought
like
that
they're
was like
wearing
a
sweaters.
sweater.
Yeah.
They like glued a couple patches of fur onto their hands
Yeah.
and their like faces and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh.
But yeah, it did not look like they looked like they were wearing sweaters, but I guess that was supposed to be their skin or their fur
It
or
was like a
whatever.
onesie.
You can see like the hair clumps under
This-
their balls.
yeah. Yeah, they just threw bald caps on top of their hair. Called it a day.
So all of them had these wild cul-de-sacs. Just barely. Like, wait a second, is that intentional? You could have put a little hair on the skull caps or something.
There
Like,
was
I don't get that.
The one shot where you see the guy's back for a second, you can see
Yeah.
the zipper.
You could see
You
that
can see the
throughout
zipper.
the like the entire thing. There's a couple parts. I was like, oh, there's the zipper. Oh, there's the zipper.
Yeah, we don't get Lex Luthor, Metallo, or Darkseid. We get
Brainiac.
the Mole-Man.
Awesome.
But yeah, you give it a lot of leeway because this was made at a time where, like, yeah, they had no effects.
Right.
Exactly. They didn't
Right.
have any effects.
Yeah.
Superman's lore. Superman was still relatively younger at this time
Yeah.
because he was created in 1937, 1938. So he was only around for maybe about 12, 13 years at this point. So the lore hadn't really built up. So you don't have that much to work with. It was the same with the Batman serials in like
Yeah,
the late
exactly.
30s. He's just fighting just a regular bad guy because you know the Joker doesn't exist yet. Mr. Freeze doesn't exist yet. Like this, I'm
Yeah.
pretty positive Brainiac didn't exist yet.
Oh, yeah.
Bizarro didn't exist yet. All of that, and I think Lex Luthor did, but he was way different than the Lex Luthor that we know today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they were working with what they had, and I'm sure at the time kids liked it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's got decent ratings.
They got a TV show.
Yeah, and yeah, this was meant to be basically a pilot for the George Reeves TV show. We looked this up, but like they didn't do pilots back then, so they're just like, hey, do you guys like this? We'll make a TV show out of it if you like it.
And it was actually theatrically released, right?
Yeah, it was fully in theaters, and yeah, it was the feature film, which meant something back then a bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like before you'd have a whole bunch of stuff before the feature, you know, your newsreels and your serials. And all
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So hence why the runtime is only an hour on this, because you've probably already been in the theater for about 2 hours by the time this hit.
Yeah, this was a crazy time for theaters because you'd have stuff like this was years after Casablanca, which was like what 45, 46, something like that, which
yeah.
is like 3 hours. But then you'd have stuff like this, and then The Wolf Man, which are like an hour long. You know.
Yeah, little short, like short compared to
Yeah.
the stuff we got nowadays.
I'm
Where
sure they
everything
did
has
this-
to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we had crazy long movies back then too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Sure.
Metropolis, which is a silent film from like the late 20s. That's like 3 hours long too. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
it really depends. I'm sure they double featured this with something.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. What about the flying in this? 'Cause
Oh my
that's
God.
Superman's.
It was great.
You just see, like, you could tell, like, someone, like, tossed a rope at him,
Yeah.
and he just grabbed onto it, and, like, they yanked him, like, a couple feet up in the air for a second. And then the one part where he catches the mole dude on the
yeah.
dam, he legit turns into a cartoon for a few frames.
For just a few frames.
Yeah, it's like
No.
just that still image.
I wonder, like,
They
would
like George
you...
Lucas there with like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
scratching it onto the film or
Yeah.
whatever.
Bro, that probably made some dudes, like, some people shit their pants in
Right,
1951 in
back then.
theaters.
Yeah.
Like, holy
There.
fuck! Did you see that?
But yeah, like when he flies over the crowd of the people, like it's just a crane that's being dragged.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
He's
just-
flying through the city, and
it's
they
like a
just,
backwards
the camera's
POV.
looking at the
Yeah.
street. Like, why are we looking at?
It's like an
Superman's
ass
shoes,
cam, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
a camera strapped to his ass and just like flying off.
And he's flying like
Just
7
over
feet
his-
off the
yeah.
ground.
Yeah, you can't even see the tops of the building.
Yeah.
Like,
And so slow too. Like they didn't even bother speeding up the footage or anything.
No,
Just,
like-
yeah,
He's
for driving
he's
like
slowly
30 miles an
gaining
hour,
altitude.
Yeah. Like I know that's what they had to work with at the time, but it's still hilarious
Sure.
now. I think that's part of all the funniness of this is like just it's all looking back on like what people thought and how they acted back then.
Exactly,
like,
for
like
sure.
yeah, we already mentioned like the Earth was 6 miles deep before he.
That's
gets to the
almost
Earth.
halfway to the center of the Earth. Like wow, incredible.
Little bit off the 3,000 miles.
If that's all it took, man, holy crap. We'd have underground subway stations straight to Japan already, you know?
Right. And just like how the like everything was radiated from the mole men, and all it was just it glowed. Like you can just see radiation.
Which, by the way, why the fuck did Superman take the radiated mole man after he got shot to the hospital?
Yeah.
To get taken care of, like. But he was at the same time saying that the townsfolk should be worried about attacking them because they're radiated.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that? Yeah. So Clark gets like all the town people ready to go get the mole men. So he gets in there like, no, don't shoot at them, don't get them just because they're different.
They came up out of the drill shaft in the oil well from 6 miles underground.
They look strange to us, it's true. We must look just as strange to them. But as far as we know, they don't mean us any harm.
Yeah, what about old Pop Shannon?
And what about me?
Yeah, me too. There I was putting my hair up for the night when...
Don't you understand? All these things happened because you were frightened. Now, if you'll just be reasonable and keep your head...
what?
You don't want to mention the radioactive at the time?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be like, oh, by the way, you touch them, you could get cancer.
Yeah, you'll die.
You come at them and they'll shoot you with their little splooge way.
Yeah, the mole men came back for revenge with a vacuum with a funnel on it, and it shot jizz at people.
This is the pew, pew, pew. And then the dude's just like, oh no.
They shoot him like 20 times, and he's still like fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm like, no, that's the slow death rate.
Yeah.
It gave him cancer.
He gets cancer next year, yeah.
They Molocked him from fucking Watchmen.
Yeah. And the true villain of this movie, Benson.
Yeah, was that his name, Benson?
Yeah, Benson. Benson's a goddamn maniac. Like, why does this town have Benson still around?
In the second place, they may be radioactive. If they fall in the reservoir, they may contaminate the water supply. Save your time and ammunition, Benson.
Busts into the sheriff's department. He's like, I'm taking over. See?
When they came to arrest him, he just punched
He just punched
the
the police.
deputy, and then they just left.
Yeah.
They just left him alone.
It's like, I guess he wins. He punched us.
Fuck, I guess in 50s standards, that it's over. There's case closed.
We have like a Wild West town. Where
That's
the
the
sheriff,
justice
the
system.
sheriff, because he says he is.
It's whoever punched the last sheriff. It's like the Highlander. Well, I guess he's the sheriff now.
I guess so.
And then he just keeps shooting Superman. Like, Benson unloads two
and
guns
he's
on
just like,
him.
click,
And then later he shoots him again. It's like, you're not getting this.
It's so funny that they did. There was the one time they showed the bullet hit him.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Animated
And it
thing,
just
and
looked like they
never
just
do
threw
it
a dart. It was like a little Nerf dart.
Yeah.
And then they never do it again because they don't want to animate that effect.
They
Yeah,
just
too much
show the
work.
sound and he's just sitting there. He's
Yeah.
like,
No, they
nothing's
just-
hitting you.
It was just a close-up shot on his gun and him standing there.
And that was right before he had his one fight scene, Superman's one fight scene, where he just fights the mob and he just tosses
Oh, he
a guy.
tosses that
Oh yeah,
guy.
he
What
grabs,
is that?
he grabs that
fucking-
guy from between the legs.
Yeah, what the hell is the
Wow.
he like fireman carries him and
Yeah.
slaps him on the ground.
And then they're all like, we can't continue this scene because there's no way we could show like Superman beating these guys up because we don't have the effects for it.
Yeah.
So just fade out.
yeah,
just
he's
fade
just,
out.
like, he's just like pushing the crowd
Yeah,
away.
he's
Yeah,
I'm gonna take all your guns.
like, grabs one of them. Ah. That was hilarious. I wasn't ready for that. He's just like almost suplexes this fucking dude.
the rubber gun at the beginning.
Oh yeah, they
Well,
do the
they
classic bending
Yeah.
the gun. That was good.
Yeah.
That took me back.
I'm surprised they did that. I'm surprised he even had technically a fight scene.
Yeah, like it was mostly just like Superman following around the mole men and kind of saving them. Like he didn't do anything.
Clark Kent
I
going
like-
into a building, Superman coming out.
Yeah.
I like how the mole man came out to investigate, And then they got beat up, so they decided to go home and get reinforcements. And then there's just 4 of them now instead of
Yeah.
2. Like,
You just grab 2 more dudes,
Yeah.
one of them with the
Guys.
splooge
time to
ray.
go get
Yeah.
the squad.
So this is the best weapon we can afford. This is our weapon of mass destruction.
It was like a whipped cream can, just giant version, you know?
So what would have happened if they attempted that on the mob? If
Right.
Superman hadn't intervened, it just went...
Yeah, because
on one of
Superman
them.
was like, they've got a weapon. It's probably dangerous.
It's probably dangerous.
And then he shot that guy
Maybe.
with it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, yeah, what if they just built a wall around this town and just let them and the mole men just fight it out and see what happens?
Yeah, right. That would be cool.
Because the townsfolk are idiots and the mole men are useless, so like, let's see what happens.
I just,
So funny.
I just love that shot of like them hitting Benson or whatever with that ray and him
Yeah.
just going back onto the wall. Just,
Oh, yeah.
oh no!
His clothes are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like half the time they have like a little white ray on him, and half
Yeah.
the time it's just like nothing. He's just like, oh, oh.
And when Superman blocks it, he's just sitting there like this.
It's just hitting him. It's just it looks so bad.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
terrible.
But I liked in this too, and it's very much like the 50s horror movies, like the classic Universal ones, though, is there's not one scene without music behind it. The
Yeah.
entire movie has like a score behind it.
Or they got to
every
up
single
the
moment.
ante,
Yeah.
you know? It has to have some freaking excitement, you know?
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, because they're not
Some
doing
of
it
the
with the
scenes
action.
were a little drawn out too.
Oh yeah, no, that really
They
awkward scene.
ran around
Yeah.
that building. They should have did some kind of old school effects right there, where they just showed like a little like X-ray blip of him seeing them on the around the building.
Right.
Like,
What's the matter?
They're running up the street.
Well, who?
Craig and Corrigan,
I don't see anyone.
just keep looking.
that would have made that so much more like.
The
bearable.
shot that they got, it's just the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it
it's
just
like, what
waited
is it?
for the motherfucker to walk around.
Just running
And
down.
Superman like, oh, here they come, so
Here
you
they
know
come.
he can see them.
They're like,
But
oh
they
shit,
don't
oh shit,
show
oh
it.
shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh
And
shit.
he didn't explain it either. He wasn't
No.
like, oh, I can see through them through the walls. So he just said, oh, here they go.
Yeah, here they go.
You
I don't see him.
You always have to have a suspension of disbelief at some level with Superman, just because
Yeah.
it's all like, oh, I'm Superman now. Now I'm Clark Kent. You know.
It's the pomade, man.
That
Say these lines out.
well,
No.
I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm all like, oh, that guy's that same actor in this movie, and he
Yeah.
had an eye
Oh,
patch in that movie. I had no
Right,
idea.
yeah.
Some shit like that. But at the same time, it's like Clark Kent is never in the same spot as Superman.
Yeah.
First off, second off, he just showed you he could see through walls.
Yeah.
that was blatant.
Yeah.
Like he gave it. He was so snarky towards Lois.
Yeah.
Like that's just like the typical man
50s,
vibe
yeah.
of that era.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I know more than you. Look, I can see through, but I don't need to tell you that. I just know.
I just
Because
know.
I'm a man.
Lois is useless and like she did nothing in this.
Was she even supposed to be a reporter? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they're
said
still
they were both
reporters.
newspaper journalists.
This is Miss Lane and Mr. Kent.
How do you
Bobby Shannon, best watchman in the oil field. Pop, these folks are going to do a feature story on the well.
Oh, newspaper reporters, huh? That's right.
But like, yeah, she didn't do anything.
No.
She just kind of was around.
No. And I guess that's like the 79 Superman, they wanted to show it, like make it more modern but still play with like the classic Superman tropes or just comic book tropes.
Yeah.
And all of them. And like with Margot Robbie, or
Kidder.
not Margot Robbie, Margot Kidder, yes, excuse me, sorry. With Margot Kidder, they wanted to be like, oh, it's the 70s, it's a new age, she's an independent woman, you know. And in this one, it's just like, she's just a regular 50s woman, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the lady, yeah.
Just some lady
And then yeah,
that thinks that 6 miles to underground is halfway through the center of the center of the
I mean,
earth.
she wasn't wrong though, because the guy was like, "Yeah, we kept burrowing
Yeah,
down,
Hollow
and then
Earth.
there was a big shaft. We must have hit the center of the
I
earth."
guess so. Yeah, Hollow Earth confirmed. Godzilla crossed King Kong cannon.
Yep.
At least since it's only 6 miles, they probably don't have to deal with the gravity issue.
Yeah, it's true. The gravity doesn't flip upside down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, he did say he was all like, and we were hanging suspended. It's like, oh, that would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Surprised the drill just didn't.
Right. Nah, they didn't even have a drill.
Yeah.
It's too expensive.
No, they just had a hole in the ground with like a little cap.
Yeah.
That actual like on set was probably just like 5-6 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It's
just
enough to
little too.
jam those people in there during the one scene to come out. Yeah. Yeah, no, all the mole men really did too is just creep on people, like just
walk
look in
around.
windows. Yeah,
They were like investigating.
Yeah.
This is their first time to Earth.
yeah,
I kept on being like, "Oh, that's Nosferatu right there."
right.
Skull cap and everything.
Yeah, he definitely has that like ratty look.
Yeah, like this is probably the higher budget big tent pole though at the time though.
Yeah,
well,
well,
I couldn't really say how it did.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure it did pretty well
Yeah.
if you got a big syndicated TV show.
yeah,
But at the same time, like you got to put into perspective, like you said, this was the first actual in theaters superhero movie that
Yeah.
wasn't just a serialization.
exactly.
And so like it was never done before, so they
Yeah.
were like doing things that hadn't been
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
As small
Figuring out how to do stuff.
and
Yeah.
as small and stupid as they seem now is like I'm sure it's pretty revolutionary. Like the
Yeah.
little cartoon Superman flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like making things look radioactive probably
Yeah.
blew people away, but we know now it's just shining a flashlight on it or
Well, that was a popular effect before then too. One movie specifically that comes to mind from the early 40s with Lon Chaney Jr. called I forget what it's called. Like he plays this guy called Dynamo Dan, the Electric Man, where he's like full of electricity and it's like he's glowing the whole time. But I'm sure it's still like you didn't have streaming or renting movies. And
yeah,
stuff,
so you probably didn't see that for the most part.
you probably didn't see that often, so it still probably was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that's fucking irradiated.
No, I always think about that. Like, if we could go back in time and bring a movie, like what would blow people away?
Oh,
and like,
yeah.
I would bring something stupid, but would still blow them away. Like, bring back Battleship and show people Battleship, and it'd still like melt their brains.
Yeah.
Mine would be I would go to this day and age to 1954 and bring Terrifier.
There you go.
just everyone in the theater just evacuating their stomach.
Yeah.
Everyone just throw up. I'm sure. Like, holy crap. Something like that. Or even, you could even just bring something mild. I'd say, like going to the 50s and bringing over the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty fucked up for its time, too, even though
Right,
there's
yeah.
not too much, like, that's really bloody in that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Totally.
Just bring over the Naked Gun. Just something stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, just like what we take, total, like,
Yeah.
we don't think of anymore.
Yeah.
Or we like, oh, that effect looks stupid. But
Yeah.
like,
You got to
you
take
go back
it in
when,
perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
You go back then, you're like, oh, that
They
is.
didn't have much.
Yeah, they didn't have, everything was done pretty much on set
Uh-huh.
with very little editing. Like,
Yeah.
and they had to like develop the film, so they couldn't even see like what they shot. until
Exactly.
later.
Craziness.
And then we looked it up. This was shot in 12 days.
Insane.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
that's
believe
It
it.
looks like it.
I believe it.
I bet you all the Mole Men exploratory shots were all just one day.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
sure.
All right, we
yeah.
need you to walk around and look around in this area.
Yeah.
Now go look around in this area.
Walk more like a chicken.
Look through this.
yeah,
Look
yeah.
Look through this window. Now look through this window.
Look through this window. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny, but also like only from perspective.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's a bad movie per se, just because it's just what it was at the time.
Well, I mean, even like the subject matter wasn't as popular then as it is today.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you would have.
I think so. Like we were talking about To Kill a Mockingbird, and this was like a few years before.
No, I mean Superman, like generally.
Oh,
like comic books in general.
comic books.
Yeah.
Okay,
weren't even
for
like
sure.
popular like that.
The Silver Age was
Yeah.
starting at this time, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Or it was still
really know
Golden
how
Age-ish.
big it was per se, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it's still like exploring that interesting like new world of stuff. But yeah,
I mean, a lot of that stuff was just nerd stuff.
It was,
for a
yeah.
lot of the time.
Yeah, or children, really.
yeah, it
Most
was
of
children. Yeah,
yeah.
it was children stuff,
But
and yeah,
it's interesting to see because, like, the comic book movie industry didn't start blowing up until really the 90s. There's like the awkward teen years.
Yeah,
of course, in the
exactly.
90s. And then you get the Spider-Mans, you get X-Men, and then the Batman Begins. It's really like the formula is built, and they're really hitting their stride and know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But then if you go even further back, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, you can see since the conception of film and comic books, they've been trying to like make comic book movies.
Yeah.
Or put just comic book characters on screen, not even just in movies, but of course, like we were saying, serials before that. And it's interesting to see the evolution that started. That was very slow, and it didn't start to like really pick up speed until the 70s with the 70s Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like at the deaths in between of like the popularity of comic book movies. But yeah, they were still always a step forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is definitely the infancy of comic book movies.
Yeah,
like,
most definitely.
We're taking our first little awkward steps into it.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah, it's interesting film history, and yeah, like I said, I don't think it's bad. It's hard. It's a little slow for our current sensibilities to watch. Yeah,
it's very dated. Yeah,
yeah, like it's very much everyone talking, and it's also very much like the camera in one shot, and everyone's still facing forward, even though you're talking to people on the sides of you, but you only turn your head.
Well, Mike, look what we have here.
Yeah, it's much of that.
It's a dead body that is right out of off screen, you know.
And also, I noticed this. I think it's a 50s thing too. Everyone's shooting like this.
Oh yeah, for sure. They want you. They want to get everything in on screen, but also have the gun there too, so you know that the gun's there.
Yeah. I want to see everyone starting to shoot like this. I think this needs to be an update on Call of Duty, an option where
hip shots.
Everyone's just got their 6 shooters at the hip.
Dude, that would be awesome. Holy crap. Fucking Benson shooting Superman like that.
Yeah, Benson, yeah. He's double hit fisted it too. Like,
yeah, he's like pulled his gun out on the sheriff. He was all like, see here, we're going to go after this mole man.
I'd be curious to see how much of Superman was Christopher or George Reeves and how much was padding. Because, like, did you notice his suit was, like, pretty padded? Like, how muscly was he?
And then, then lower, it was, like, loose.
Yeah. So I'm curious if they padded that at all, or if it was just a weird
I'm sure they did.
costume.
I mean, muscle men weren't really a thing back then and stuff. It's interesting to think about that shit, too, because even, like, going back again to the 70s Superman, looking at it for a second, it's all like, oh, he just looks like a regular guy, but fucking Christopher Reeve got ripped.
He did.
He worked with David Prowse, who was under the armor for Darth Vader in original Star Wars. He trained him, and he was ripped as fuck. But it doesn't translate very well in the suit, you know. Cause
exactly.
it's like a leotard kind of thing. And he might have George Reeves might have done the same thing, but in the 50s, that wasn't really a thing per se.
He was probably just lifting big triangular weights.
Yeah, exactly.
I say, Phineas, great day to be doing squat thrusts and lifting our huge triangular iron weights.
Just having a steak and a milk for breakfast and lifting triangular weights.
Yes. That's how you stay fit.
But also what was really funny, what got me is, for some reason they let Clark Kent into the surgery after one of the mole men got shot, and he just had his full suit with a jacket, and then we're like probably the Superman suit under that, and then a little doctor smock on top of it. It's like, how many layers do you need, man?
Holy crap.
Really warm that day.
And they're just gonna let Clark Kent just sit in on the surgery. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Whatever. Sorry, he's a reporter. He's fine. He knows what he's doing.
He's a newspaper man.
Yes, the newspaper man.
Before you start anything, I'd like to warn you. These creatures may be dangerous.
Is that right, mister? Now, who are you?
My name is Kent. I'm a newspaper man.
Have you seen these critters?
I like how they mentioned Daily Planet, and they have Lois Lane, so they have all of, like, the Superman lore, but there's no mention of Metropolis.
Yeah, there was no Metropolis.
No mention of Krypton either. At the beginning, they're just like, oh, he's from space.
They said Krypton.
They said Krypton? Okay.
Many years ago, when the planet Krypton, home of a race of Supermen, exploded in space, The sole survivor was an infant boy who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal.
Sure.
But that's all we get for the origin, which I actually kind of like because we've seen the origin a million times.
Yeah, that's
it's like,
true.
They just tell you the origin.
Yeah.
Like, all right, and we're good to go.
That's interesting that, like, from that movie where we don't have an oversaturation of his origin.
Yeah.
But they don't.
His origin was in the comics by then, though,
It
right?
was, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
most definitely.
they didn't have the technology to do it.
Yeah, no, that would have been really.
They could have done it. They could have just had fucking
a bunch of different still shots of his palace.
Yeah,
they could have
a spaceship.
like they could have just had like just a wall and be like, oh, this is Clark Kent's or Kal-El's parents' home on Krypton, you know?
Oh,
just
sure,
have like a
yeah.
fucking tin box and be like, this is his rocket ship. I don't know, but I guess it for cost effectiveness,
and they probably were limited on time, I would assume too, because it's a pretty tight hour. Like it does drag, but like I think for the time, like they got as much as they had to.
They couldn't get Marlon Brando yet.
Get Marlon Brando. Guys, think, would you suggest this to anyone for a good reason?
Yeah, it's like finding the right reason.
Right. I think if you're interested in kind of film history, this is an interesting thing.
It's comic book movie history.
And comic book movie history, but outside of that, I don't know if it's worth even sitting down and riffing on too much because it does get very slow.
It drags. Yeah.
Drags a lot.
And I mean, I don't mind like slow burns with movies. I do watch a lot of movies from this time. I've seen every Universal monster movie from the 30s and 40s. So I mean, if you're into older movies and you have the patience for that kind of thing, give it a watch. But even then, it's like
It was like a poorly written version of the Andy Dick show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wasn't everything at that time?
Right? Yeah.
That's fair.
And this one's a bit hard to find too. Like it is not even to rent anywhere. I ended up having to put on an eye patch to get this version that we
Right.
There you go, for sure.
So like it's a little bit hard to find too. I kind of disappointed on HBO Max for not keeping this as part of their like
their
least
DC
film
stuff.
history.
Yeah. They have the same with like the Batman serials.
Yeah.
I have the Batman serials from the early 40s on DVD, but they're not on streaming.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that's kind of ridiculous.
Which is a bummer because the 1966 movie is hilarious and amazing. To watch.
It's so good. The Adam West of
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Adam West show is streaming.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's somewhere. I don't know if the movie is.
But
I'd have to look.
it's only because of its popularity. If
Yeah.
it wasn't that popular, like, because this isn't that popular, it'd probably be in the same boat.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, hopefully, we're watching this a few months before Superman's coming out, so maybe as it gets closer, they do here's all the old Superman stuff.
I will
Oh,
say,
yeah, that would be cool.
watching this movie will allow you to get used to the drawn out parts of the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, man. Oh, shots fired.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not 3 hours and
4 hours,
4
yeah.
4 hours.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a mini series, basically.
Yeah, no slow motion in this one
Nope.
either.
And this one just looks old because that's what they had. He just
Yeah.
wanted that to look old because he thought it was cool.
Right, yeah.
It also doesn't have any controversies like Man of Steel. He doesn't snap anyone's neck or anything.
No, Superman is... I feel like this is a decent version of Superman, especially the Silver Age Superman. Like,
yes.
He's just doing right. He's just being a good guy.
Straight
And,
cut guy, yeah.
Yeah. He's just sitting there just showing off his powers once or twice, not
Yeah.
like flying around too much.
Because,
wild.
dude could have wasted Benson if he really
He
felt
could
like
have, yeah, for sure. He could have done all kinds of shit to that
Although
guy.
he did, I guess, insult him or give him the shaft when Benson's like, "Thanks for saving my life," and he just like took off.
He's all like, you didn't deserve it, asshole.
You saved my life.
That's more than you deserve.
Oh yeah,
You're a
that was
dick.
funny.
That's better. Better than what you deserve.
Yeah, better than what you deserve. Ooh.
Fucking Benson.
I should have just let you continue to get cummed on.
See, that's the villain, James Gunn should have brought back for a new Superman.
The
is
mole.
Benson.
Yeah,
Benson. Not even the mole, just Benson.
Benson.
Just this asshole running around riling up people.
Who is this guy? Who are you? Like, what the fuck? The deepest cut of all
Right.
deep cuts.
I'm good.
It's
it
pretty
was fun.
solid.
It's serviceable for
It's
the time.
fun if you watch it with the right people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where can people find you if they want to see more of you guys?
I have a YouTube channel called What's Up B. It's a gaming channel mostly, music occasionally. Also, guitarist for Awaken Ashes. You can find us on any streaming services.
I'm the vocalist for Awaken Ashes, so you can find both of us through our music on all of our streaming services. My YouTube channel is Maximum Engagement, where we talk about crazy horror movies and other fun stuff. We try to cover everything from early 20s silent films to our first episode was The Substance. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out.
All right. Well, this has been a Raiders of the Lost comic movie. Hopefully we find some, or dig up some old shit some other time. So, see y'all later.
Go now. No one will harm you. Go back where you belong.